Since its creation in 2017, a lot of weird things have happened in the HFL. From Logan's Road to the second seed with the second lowest points scored, to Connor somehow always ending up with the 10th pick. There's been so many unexplainable things that we've seen transpire. But none of them are quite as crazy as the curse of the number 1 seed. Simply put, the number 1 seed has never won the championship in all 6 seasons of the HFL. Many times the number 1 seed has dominated the regular season, with several of them only losing 2 to 3 games before the playoffs. So what has happened to each of these teams that has led to their collapse? And what do I believe started this curse? To start, we're going to have to head all the way back to 2017. This season, the number 1 seed was won by Anthony after going 9-4 to end the year. This season also features some controversy towards the start of the year, with Anthony trading half of his bad players for all of Connor's good players, and also buying JC Overwatch loot boxes so that he would accept a trade. This is what I believe to be what started the curse. JC also went 9-4 that year, but Anthony had whatever weird tiebreaker that the NFL fantasy website used, so Anthony had the first seed. After his bye week, Anthony made quick work of my team, beating me 124 to 70. On the other side of the bracket, JC took down Ryan and also advanced to the championship. Led by Todd Gurley, JC smacked the fuck out of Anthony by a score of 139 to 96. He even started Blake Bortles at QB just to flex on him. I believe the fantasy gods saw the heinous acts that Anthony had done during the season and decided to curse us all. And believe me, the curse was just getting started. During the 2018 season, one team dominated above the rest. Led by the absolute monster that was Todd Gurley, Nick went on a tear and ended the year 11-2, easily clinching the first seed for himself. His record of 11-2 was a lofty 4 wins above the closest competitor, and his 2 losses were by a combined 7.92 points, so he could have easily had a perfect season. He must have made it pretty far then, right? Right? Oh shit. After the bye week, Nick was defeated by Lawson 102 to 59. This was without any major injuries to his team too. Todd Gurley tried his hardest, but his 24 points just wasn't enough to carry the mid that surrounded him that fateful evening. The championship was eventually won by Andy, the 3rd seed, and the curse proved to be as lethal as ever. In 2019, JC returned as one of the top teams in the league. After winning in 2017, he ended in 5th place the next year. But in 2019, his team was on a different level. Following in Nick's footsteps, his team finished 11-2 to end the year. Unlike his predecessor, JC would not be denied access to the championship game, beating Nick in a blowout of 143 to 96. The championship ended up being a battle of roommates at the time, with JC facing off against the 2nd seed Connor. In the championship, JC's team did not collapse. He dropped 140 points for the 2nd straight week, but this was not enough to stop the animal that was 2019 Michael Thomas. JC lost by a score of 161 to 140, which to this day is the highest scoring championship in HFL history. Even 140 points wasn't enough to stop the curse. The 2020 season is one that hits a little too close to home. Led by the dynamic duo of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, I steamrolled my way to a 9-4 record and the number 1 seed in the league. My team also set the record for most points scored in a single game when I dropped 209 points in a matchup against JC. For the first time in league history, I decided to end the season before the playoffs to escape the curse, and I crowned myself champion. Wait, that's not what happened? Well, why the fuck didn't I do that? My team dropped a jaw-dropping 174 points against the bye week, so I cruised my way to the 2nd round. I took care of business against Ryan by a score of 134 to 105. And I was met by JC's team, the Kenyon Drake fan club, in the championship. And my team repeated their previous success against him by dropping 200 points again. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I was mollywopped, bent over, abused, and destroyed by the score of 176 to 100. This was my first time witnessing the curse in first person. And let me tell you, that shit is real. In an attempt to escape from the curse, in 2021, we switched platforms from NFL Fantasy to Sleeper. But unfortunately, this didn't stop the beast. This season, Nick cruised to a 10-4 record, led by the two-headed monster of Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. Derrick Henry was unfortunately injured before his playoff run, but this didn't stop Nick's team from winning games and securing the 1 seed. After the bye week, Nick was embarrassed by Connor by a score of 144 to 79. Wait, am I reading this right? Hold up, this sounds a little familiar. This time around, Nick's collapse can be attributed to injuries, in contrast to the last time. But that's not the main reason he lost. The curse somehow traveled cross-platform and tore Derrick Henry's ACL. Now this brings us to the most recent season, 2022. This year saw the addition of many new faces, the most notable being Eski. Eski came into the draft with a zero running back strategy, yet he somehow ended with some of the best running backs due to scouring the waiver wire. Eski's dominance was unreal. Seeing that you were matched up against him would immediately strike fear into your heart. Eski's team was so good that he started Nathan Peterman in a matchup, and still won. He clinched the bye week with ease many weeks before the season's end with a record of 11-3. He was able to beat Connor after his bye week by a score of 89 to 84. That game may seem close, but he did bench 2 of his players after securing the win. In the championship, he faced off against the feared wielder of Rick and Morty, Maddox. After carrying Eski all year, Justin Jefferson dropped a whopping 2.5 points, and his waiver wire running backs that he relied on all year let him down. Maddox crushed Eski's dreams by a score of 100 to 94, and the curse proved to still live on. Maybe in some alternate timeline where Anthony didn't violate the fantasy gods, the 1 seeds like myself and Nick actually were able to pull it off. But as of now, the curse shows no signs of lifting.